Are there any best practices in terms of how to kick off a delegation relationship that feels productive and sets you up for success?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, it's interesting. I was reading this study was done in 2018 about women in delegation, and not a surprise. Women tend to not delegate as much as men, even though they may think they are, for many of the reasons where we may sort of go, oh yeah, that makes sense. But what was really interesting about the study was that the women who do delegate tend to have um, reports where the person who was the delegatee had reported less satisfaction of the relationship. And I was like, whoa, like what? Right. It was very interesting. And part of it is that because, and again, this is a generalization, um, when we sort of hesitate delegating, we sort of want to avoid. So, like, oh, Katie, do this. And then I kind of like want to scurry away because it's uncomfortable. Right. And so part of this is just to first, as the manager, as the leader, before the relationship, is really clarifying, why is this important to delegate, right? Like, why is this project important? And what is it that I really let go of certain things about this project? And then also to reframe and say, this is also an opportunity to develop the other person. It is actually my role as a leader is to develop others as well. And so it's actually part of my job responsibility to give this, right? So it's almost like it's a mindset shift, first of all, to kind of be able to do that. So then when we step into the conversation with someone new, instead of just going to the transactional, like, okay, Katie, can you 3 and 5? Great, bye, right? There is, especially during this virtual world, and I mean, this is the future of work is now, and it is relational. Like, let's put aside like the pretense that we are all robots. We're not. And so it's really important to understand from the other person, are they clear in their expectations? So being very clear about the expectations, the milestone. Are they responsible? Are they accountable? Right? We know probably familiar with like the RACI chart, like being very clear about the roles and responsibilities. Um, Helping them identify what are the signposts that you're going to want to see if they're on the right page. But also, I think a conversation that often doesn't often kind of gets forgotten is making explicit how you work, how each person works. Because if I'm a manager who, likes to not, just tell me once a week, I'm great with that. And the other person's like, I need to tell you every minute, right? What happens is the manager's like, oh my gosh, this person doesn't know how to do it themselves. Or the other way around, where a manager's like, I expect an update once a day. And the other person was like, no, I'll just update you once a week, right? So we assume that the other person knows, or we assume the other person works like we do.
Right.
So key piece, and especially when it's someone new, is to get to know how we work. And I would add another piece that, if I think it's a piece that we oftentimes don't get at, but I'm always curious when I'm working with leaders or myself when I've delegated, why are they what does this project mean to them? Or what is it that they want to learn? Why? Because when I can tap into that, then there's also more engagement, more motivation. Like, oh, yeah, maybe, I mean, granted, some of the work is not all that glamorous and fun all the time, but what are you interested in learning about this? Why is this important to you? Then we're really sort of having this ability to move beyond delegation, but it's really a development opportunity.